Hey guys, Brandon Woolham hanging out at the CCM Cafe today with our friends in Chosen Road. Welcome back to Nashville, guys.
Thank you, man.
Good to be here.
Always good to be here.
Yeah, so since the last time, a new album out, just debuted pretty high too. How's it feel to keep putting these albums out and people actually still care to listen to them?
Well, we just love it that we still have people that buy some CDs and
nice.
and vinyl records and all that stuff. But no, we're excited. The album is actually, it just came out, but we probably started setting aside songs for this album probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago maybe. And so we were excited to do it. We did a Christmas one, back last fall, released it, but we've been wanting to release this album for a long time.
What's the title mean?
It
Where's
never
come
gets
from?
old. I originally the title for the album comes from a song that's on the album that's called "Never Gets Old," and probably one of our favorite songs on the album. And it just talks about how the gospel never gets old; it will carry you through every stage of life. And so we love that. But then we actually got to thinking about it afterwards. Bluegrass music, this kind of music that we play, it never gets old either. It's been here for hundreds of years, these instruments anyway, and people fall in love with it every single day. So the gospel never gets old, and this style of music never gets old.
Yeah, and on this one, people are going to hear some more familiar songs that they may have heard in church in the past. What made you choose the hymns that you chose for this
Well,
project?
we didn't do any hymns on this project. This project probably has, well, we did some hymns, but they're modern hymns. They're brand new hymns, yeah, and brand new hymns. But there's more original music on this album than any album that we've ever put out. There's more original songs that came from within the band than we've ever had on any other album, so we're really excited about that. But there are some familiar songs on there that church folks will know and love. I'm a Friend of God. We took it and defiled it by putting a banjo on it. And then Lion and the Lamb. Yeah, some really cool, fresh arrangements on those.
The single that's out right now, people might recognize, and you played that here today.
Yeah, I Want to Be Just Like You is a Phillips Craig and Dean song that came out back in the, was it late 80s, I think, early 90s? Yeah, and we absolutely love those guys. I cut my teeth on Phillips Craig and Dean. I remember when I was a kid listening to, Mercy Came Running and Crucified with Christ and songs like that because I grew up listening to Christian radio and Christian contemporary music, and so I always loved Phillips Craig and Dean. We decided quite a few years ago to take a couple of their songs and try to mess them up and put banjo on them, and so we did, and we became fast friends with those guys, and they've been a blessing. And this song really means a lot to us now. We've all in the last 2 years had kids, so we've all got kids that are under 2, and so it is just nuts. But like the song says, I want to be just like God because I see my child. He wants to be like me. And so we should be praying that every single day that we're just modeling our lives after Christ.
And there's a couple other tracks on this album that are pretty personal to you guys too, right?
Yeah. There's one song that's on there, original song that Zach and I wrote with our buddy Dave Clark, is a song about my granddad. And he served in the United States military for 37 years and was a highly decorated veteran. Made the D-Day invasion. He was a guard of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. He was active combat in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. And so for years I'd wanted to write a song about my granddad and just the testimony and the legacy that he left behind. And I just struggled with how do you put all that into words. And we sat down and we wrote this song called That's What Heroes Do. And the hook line came because we were talking, and I was like, as a little boy, I can remember being at my grandfather's house, and above his recliner, he had all these medals in a case, and all these pictures, and I knew that he did something really important, but I never really did understand it until I was older. He never talked about it, but that's what heroes do. He didn't have to talk about it, and he acted, and we thank God for those guys. And so that was the one that we recorded, and we hope that it means something to people. Zach, there's a song on there that you wrote. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, it's called Jesus Wear the Crown, and I just wrote that one. It kind of just came to me. I was reading through the book Pilgrim's Progress, and then I was reading through the Psalms, and this one just kind of came out. And I'm so thankful that, there's so much that I don't understand, and when I think I've got it together and when I think that I know what's best for my life, it might not be what God has for me. And so I'm thankful that I can let him wear the crown because he's the King of Kings. He's the one who's got it under control. And so that's kind of what this song's about.
Love it. You guys are doing some work with at-risk churches also, right? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we've done it. We've been doing that for years now. We have an ongoing handshake partnership with the North American Mission Board and their church replant and church revitalization team. Every year in North America, there are between 4,000 to 6,000 churches that shut their doors, never open again. And so several years ago, the North American Mission Board started trying to address that and do something about it. And they reached out to us years ago, wanted to know if we would partner with them, use our music to encourage pastors who are laboring in those declining churches. And so we've been doing that for a while, but last year they reached out and they actually asked Zach and I if we would write a song to be the theme song for a new podcast that they were putting out called the Roll Pastor Podcast. And so you can hear that song, and there's an acoustic version that actually every episode leads in and out.
So does it sound like a Chosen Road song, or does it sound like a jingle?
It sounds like a Chosen Road song, yeah. But it's specifically written for pastors that serve in churches that are in small town America. Guys that never get any credit, they never get any praise, they don't get the glory. They're just there serving day in and day out in some really tough situations. And it's really cool to be able to create music that inspires someone to keep on mission for Christ like that, because they're making just unbelievable sacrifices, them and their families. And so to be able to use our music to encourage those guys means more than probably anything that we've ever experienced. Yeah.
How can people get involved with that if they want to help you guys out?
So you can go to churchreplanters.com. And there's all kinds of information on there. If you're a pastor and you happen to stumble upon this, go there. There's all kinds of resources. You can actually download that song for free. We would rather you stream it. We would, and our label would too. But you can download the song for free if you are a pastor at rollpastorpodcast.com.
Sounds great.